Hello everyone, my name is Roya, and today I will be telling you all about the books that I read in the month of March, or the second half of March, that is. So I already obviously did a wrap-up of what I read in the first half of March, so this is the second half. First, I'm going to talk about the last Herald Mage trilogy by Mercedes Lackey, Magic's Promise, Magic's Pawn, and Magic's Promise, and Magic's Price. That is the correct order. So this is about a boy named Vaniel who wants to be a bard, but then he ends up going to be a herald instead because he has magic, and then he gets chosen by a horse and all that stuff, because heralds basically are chosen by these white horses called companions, and etc, etc. So basically the thing that I liked about this is that Vaniel is gay and has relationships with men that are full of drama and other things, and it is amazing, and it made it so much more entertaining. So I read the Arrows of the Queen trilogy last year, which is the one that kind of comes before this one, and I liked it, but I didn't find it that compelling just because of a lot of things came out of nowhere, especially as far as relationship subplots went. But this kind of took that, it made things like that not just come out of nowhere. The relationships were actually very developed. And while it had kind of the same thing going on that the Arrows trilogy had, where the villains were not very developed and a lot of the conflict wasn't really, I still found this so good compared to that one, like a lot better, because just a lot of the conflict and whatnot was actually more prevalent, and there were so many parts that were very high stakes and just really almost break your heart, and it was great. So I think that I've already filmed my video about where to start with Mercedes Lackey, and I haven't posted it yet, but honestly I think that that this would be also a good thing to start with if you're into high fantasy and you're familiar with like 80s fantasy and whatnot. So yeah, this one's awesome. Then I naturally read The Dragon Reborn by Robert Jordan. This is The Wheel of Time, Book 3, and we have probably already done our live show by the time this video goes up. Actually, of course we have. Anyway, this one was probably my favorite one of the three. It had the most, like, weird stuff going on. Got to know some of the characters a lot more, and we found out some more stuff, and there's just some crazy, crazy parts. Some of my favorite parts were when Egwene is taking her test to become a one of the accepted, and she has to basically go to pretty much an alternate reality and face her worst fears, and it's such a weird part because she goes to so many of them, and some of them you kind of wonder, is this actually part of the test? Is this planned? I don't know, but it's very, very weird. But anyway, this is definitely my favorite of the three so far. And I also read Schraders Blade by Sebastian de Castell, and I absolutely adored this book so much. When I started it, it was a little bit slow to start, so I was kind of like, okay, like, I hear such good things about this book, like, when's it gonna get good? And oh my gods, did it get good. Holy shit. This book is not predictable in the least, like, not even slightly. I saw none of it coming. So there are all kinds of twists and turns that really made me go, are you kidding me right now? And then also the magic system was well thought out in a way that, like, it left a lot of room for, okay, that's kind of random and we haven't seen that before in this book, but at the same time it didn't seem like a convenient plot device, and it left enough room for just magic to be, okay, it's magic, whatever, not going to question it, without necessarily taking away from the well, magic works a certain way deal, sort of. So it's so hard to explain anything about this book, but, like, please go read it. Oh my gods. Next, I finally finished Herself Alone in the Orange Rain by Tracy Easton. This was sent to me for review by my friend Karen from the channel Simple Cup of Tea, and I will leave a link to her channel down below, but she was working with the author to promote this book, so she sent me an e-copy, and this is a really awesome book. It's a historical fiction about a girl who joins the IRA, which is a terrorist group in Ireland. At least the way I learned about it in school was that it's a terrorist group, but basically, obviously, that's not what they refer to themselves as. So I will have a review of this book up soon. It probably won't be this month, to be honest, because there's so much stuff I have to post this month that the month is full already, but keep an eye out for that review. I did really enjoy this book a lot. It gave such a good insight into something like that, because I learned about the IRA in school, but other than that, I really didn't know anything. And so it's very, very fascinating in so many ways, but I feel like a lot of character depth and character relationships were sacrificed to make room for more plot and whatnot. So that kind of made me sad, but I did really enjoy it anyway. Next, I read Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young, and this was sent to me for review by the publisher, and it was also really, really good. I absolutely loved this book. I gave the first half 5 stars because, like, it was so fast-paced and I could barely put it down, but then it did get very, the pacing in the second half was very weird. But anyway, this is about a girl in a Viking-esque world among 2 warring clans that don't like each other. They've hated each other for generations. And basically one day she sees her brother, who died 5 years ago, fighting for the other side. So it's super weird, and I'm not going to reveal too much about this book, but basically I will have a review of it up on release day, and it is so well thought out how their cultures work and how they're similar enough but also different enough, and what the different clans sort of do differently. It's so interesting, and just a lot of creativity was put into it. But I felt like the pacing in the second half was very weird because it got very much into just like, we're just talking about stuff now. And then also a relationship subplot kind of, it doesn't really come out of nowhere because you do see it coming for sure. However, I did feel like it went straight from like sort of an attraction that no one's talking about to suddenly they're hooking up. So there was no in between of like, you know, there was just no development of that relationship. It just kind of started, and I'm like, whoa, dude. Okay. But it was very awesome. I loved all the characters. I loved the plot. I loved the world, everything. It is amazing. So definitely be sure to check this book out when it comes out. So those are the books that I read in the second half of March. Let me know what your thoughts are on them, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye!